Becoming a star as big as Wang Yibo may seem like a dream. The light, the fame, and the love of millions of fans. But behind the spotlight, there's a dark side rarely seen in public. When the line between love and obsession begins to blur, affection turns to fear. And one lonely night, Wang Yibo finally said, "I give up. I really can't take it anymore." This story isn't just about a tired idol, but about the price one must pay to maintain one's sanity. This is a true story that shook the Asian entertainment world. Only on China Idol Spotlight. The love of a fan can be the most beautiful thing for a star. But what if that love turns into fear? What if someone who once arrived with a smile and flowers now arrives with cameras, a tracker, and boundless courage? Wang Yibo is known as a young Chinese icon with everything from fame, a stellar career, a charming face, and millions of fans who adore him from around the world. But behind that gentle smile and charismatic gaze lies a weariness rarely seen by the public. His every move is scrutinized. Every smile is recorded. And his every move, even the most private, became public consumption. At first, it all seemed normal. After all, life as an idol is inextricably linked to public scrutiny. But slowly, the line between love and obsession began to blur. It all started with small things, letters sent without an address, anonymous calls to managers, or mysterious messages from unknown accounts. But as time went on, more and more incidents made Wang Yibo uneasy. There were knocks on his door in the middle of the night. His car was relentlessly followed. One day, someone even tried to break into a private area on the set. To most people, this would sound like a scene from a thriller. But for Wang Yibo, this was reality. As an actor and singer, Yibo is known for his discipline and rarely showing his emotions in public. But this time, he couldn't hide his tired expression. During a break from filming, the staff saw him sitting quietly on a chair in the dressing room. His eyes stared blankly at his phone, notifications constantly popping up, some containing love messages, some subtle threats. "I know where you are tonight. I just want to see you up close. Why are you avoiding me?" The words sounded sweet, but they held incredible tension. At first, Yibo chose to remain silent. He thought it might just be a prank by someone overly impressed. But when a fan actually attached a tracking device under his car, he knew it was no longer just admiration. His agency intervened. They issued a stern warning to the public, asking that their artist's privacy be respected. But what happened next only got out of hand. The Sasaeng fans, the term for obsessed fans, took it as a challenge. They went to Yibo's hotel. They knocked on his door in the middle of the night. They even tried to break through the security staff. Just to take a close-up photo. Imagine a man known for his calm, friendly demeanor and rarely getting angry, finally reaching the point where he said, "I give up. I really can't take it anymore." That simple sentence became a turning point. An honest admission that behind all his perfection and popularity, Wang Yibo was just an ordinary human being who could feel fear. That night, on his personal social media, Yibo vented the frustration he had been holding back for a long time. He wrote with a tone of anger but also despair. About how difficult it was to sleep in the car because of worry. About the staff who almost got hit trying to protect him. And about the exhaustion he could no longer hide. His post immediately exploded. Hundreds of thousands of comments flooded the page. Some fans cried, feeling guilty for perhaps having overdone it. Others were angry at the Sasaengs who were tarnishing the fandom's reputation. True fans flocked to create a Respect Yibo's privacy campaign. But unfortunately, on the other hand, some Sasaengs they became more active, as if enjoying the attention they were receiving. And this is where the lowest point came. It wasn't just fear or anger. It was a real threat to his safety. When someone started driving towards staff who were trying to stop them, everyone knew this had gone too far. Wang Yibo's agency immediately contacted the authorities. For the first time, an official report was filed. They submitted video evidence, photos, and even the tracking device they had found. This move symbolized that Yibo's patience had run out. He was no longer just asking for understanding. He was demanding justice. And that was where a new journey began. When a star as big as Wang Yibo decided to report to the police, the Chinese entertainment world seemed to come to a screeching halt. This wasn't just a privacy issue, it was an urgent signal that the boundary between fans and idols had completely collapsed. That day, the Beijing police station was suddenly bustling. A black car belonging to Yuehua Entertainment arrived at the parking lot, followed by several security personnel. Inside the bags they carried was evidence that would shock the public. In the investigation room, Wang Yibo's staff handed over several pieces of evidence: a small, coin-sized GPS tracking device, CCTV footage from the hotel parking lot, and video from a personal security camera installed in Yibo's car. The officers who received the report were silent for a moment. They knew this was no ordinary case. The high profile involved made it highly sensitive. One of the staff explained the chronology. We found this device attached to the underside of Yibo's car. We became suspicious because a white car kept appearing behind us even when we changed routes. After checking, we found the tracker neatly attached to the underside. The officers immediately recorded all statements. They checked the device and, indeed, it contained location data for the past 3 weeks. This meant someone had been monitoring Wang Yibo's movements for almost a month. One of the security staff accompanying Yibo told us that they often encountered the same figure on set or in the hotel. A young woman, wearing a mask and hat, seemed to be trying to hide but instead stood out. We tried to approach her, but she immediately ran away, sometimes appearing in the parking lot, sometimes in the hotel lobby. At first, we thought she was just a regular fan, but as time went on, her behavior became more and more strange, as if she knew Yibo's every schedule. The report stated that 3 different WeChat accounts coordinated with each other to share the artist's location. The police then investigated the digital data. This is where the mystery began to unravel. From forensic results, the police discovered a suspicious pattern. Every time Yibo moved cities for filming, anonymous social media accounts immediately posted his latest location. The posts seemed ordinary, like, "He's in Hangzhou today," but to other Sasaeng fans, it was a secret signal. They used private groups on closed platforms to share real-time information, hotel locations, room numbers, and even supposedly confidential filming schedules. And most frighteningly, some of them claimed to have insiders on the production set. After the official report was filed, Wang Yibo's agency finally held a brief press conference. A Yuehua Entertainment spokesperson appeared solemn. "We have submitted evidence to the authorities and will pursue legal action. We will not tolerate any violation of our artists' privacy. This is not just for Wang Yibo, but for all the artists who work hard in this industry. If you truly love him, you won't hurt him." A psychology expert from Beijing University was asked for his opinion on this phenomenon. He explained that in modern fandom culture, the line between love and obsession is often blurred. Sasaeng fans typically feel they have a special connection with their idols. They believe they are the only ones who truly know their idols' true selves. When they feel neglected, they tend to react in extreme ways by stalking or threatening Yibo. "We are with you. Don't be afraid, we will protect you, just as you have inspired us." On the other hand, some Sasaengs viewed the report as a betrayal. They felt Yibo had forgotten his true fans, who had been following his every move. Several days after the report was received, the police finally announced the initial results of the investigation. They had identified 2 suspected Sasaengs involved in the digital tracking and physical stalking. According to one of the perpetrators, they only wanted to make sure Yibo was okay, but the data found on their phones revealed a much deeper obsession. They included hundreds of secret photos, location logs, and even a list of the artist's personal schedules, compiled by themselves. The police stated that the case would be processed according to China's privacy and personal safety laws. For Wang Yibo, the police report wasn't just an expression of anger. It was a cry for justice from someone who had held back for too long. This bold move opened the eyes of many to the fact that behind a star's warm smile, there's an unseen fear. And now the law is starting to speak. But will this action stop the Sasaengs? Or will it actually provoke them to act even more recklessly? A journey to protect not only himself, but also all the artists who have experienced similar things. Because this isn't just about Wang Yibo. It's about the line between love and madness. And that night, Wang Yibo finally chose to fight. For many, the world of celebrity seems perfect. The spotlights, the smiles of fans, and the glamorous life seem blissful. But behind the glitz lies a story rarely talked about. fear, exhaustion, and loneliness. When news broke that Wang Yibo had reported a fan to the police, not only the public was shocked, but also his fellow artists. One of them was a young actress who had previously acted with Wang Yibo. In an exclusive interview, she admitted to frequently experiencing similar things. "I'm often followed too. Once, I left a filming location in the middle of the night, and someone was waiting for me in front of the car. He knew the route I was going to take. I'd never felt so scared before." The actress said she wanted to report it to the police, but her management forbade it, saying it would damage her public image and cause panic among fans. "We were told to keep quiet, pretending everything was fine," she said softly. A famous solo singer also spoke out on her Weibo account. "I completely understand Yibo's feelings. Sometimes we want to believe that fans love us sincerely. But the truth is some of them want to own us completely." He recounted his experience when a Sasaeng fan sent a mysterious package to his house. It wasn't a love letter, but a piece of hair and a strange message that read, "I'm always by your side." Many other artists began writing about similar experiences, from stalking, online threats, to intrusions into private locations. Behind the scenes, artists have long been aware of the dangers of Sasaeng fans. They have secret chat groups where they share safe locations, names of hotels to avoid, and even emergency codes if they feel they're being followed. "We sometimes joke around in those groups," said one senior actor. "But behind the laughter, everyone knows no one is truly safe." In the entertainment world, fear is like an old friend. They learn to live with it. But when Yibo chose to fight back one by one, that wall of silence began to crumble. After this case exploded, many young artists began speaking openly. "He dared to do what we were all afraid to do," he wrote. A popular female singer. The messages were simple, but their impact was extraordinary. For the first time, celebrities began to speak up for their right to feel safe. In an old interview, Wang Yibo once admitted that he was afraid of the dark. Because of this, he always turned on the TV and lights when he slept. Now, that confession felt much heavier. It wasn't just because of his fear of the dark, but perhaps because he knew someone was watching him even when he was trying to rest. Imagine what it would be like to live like that, with every step being watched. Every break intruded with worry. Every smile in front of the camera hidden behind a fatigue that never showed. Many asked, why did these celebrities only speak out after the Wang Yibo case exploded? But when Yibo came forward, he proved that personal safety is far more important than fame. After the incident, several major agencies began reviewing their artist security systems. They installed additional cameras on filming areas, restricted access to hotels, and trained staff to deal with emergencies. Some companies even began working with local police to create celebrity protection protocols. Wang Yibo's case sparked major changes. It's not just about one person, but about how the industry views the limits of humanity in the entertainment world. "Don't be afraid, you're not alone," added another from Korea. The letters serve as a reminder that pure love still exists. A love that doesn't demand, doesn't force, or intimidate. When Wang Yibo reported Sasaeng fans to the police, he probably had no idea that his actions would inspire so many. He wasn't just protecting himself, but also giving a voice to hundreds of artists who had chosen to remain silent. Fears that were once secret have now become a shared strength. In episode 4, we'll delve into the darker side of the Sasaeng fan phenomenon. Who are the people behind this extreme behavior? And how can obsession turn love into a threat? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, so you don't miss this deepening true story, only on China Idol Spotlight. We've all been fans. We watch, admire, and feel connected to someone we've never even met. But in the dark side of the entertainment world, there's a group of people who take admiration too far, turning it into obsession, and love into a reason to cross boundaries. When an idol doesn't respond, their brain interprets the rejection as a form of betrayal. And that's where love turns to extremes. Some Sasaengs even live in two realities, the real world and the world they create in their minds, where they are part of the idol's life. Behind every idol's smile, there's an invisible army working silently. They're not fans. They're not ordinary bodyguards. They're the last line of defense between a star and a world that wants to devour them alive. An emergency meeting began at 12:47 a.m. All electronic devices were secured, and no personal cell phones were allowed in the room. The primary goal was to eliminate all loopholes in Wang Yibo's personal information and track down the source of the data leak. All of Yibo's travel schedules now use random time and location codes. For example, flight schedules are no longer sent in the format of time and destination. Instead, they use codes like A-alpha 3 to Sigma 4, which can only be decrypted through a special internal system. Even Wang Yibo's personal driver had to go through double verification before accepting a pickup location. "We consider everyone a potential leaker, including our own staff," said the security chief. This regulation had caused internal tension. But after the tracking device incident, no one dared protest anymore. The security team formed a small 5-person unit to monitor the movements of the Sasaengs. They posed as regular staff at hotels, airports, and even the parking lots of filming locations. Their task was simple: record the faces, habits, and movement patterns of the die-hard fans who consistently appeared around Yibo. Within a week, they had collected dozens of photos and video recordings. From there, a strange pattern began to emerge. The same faces were always seen at different airports, in different cities, and even at almost the same time. "We realized these were no ordinary individuals," said one of the team members. This was an organized group. This group had its own system. Some were in charge of monitoring hotels, others monitoring airports, and still others posing as production staff. And most surprising of all, they communicated via a secret app that was only active for a few minutes each day. Yuehua worked with hotel security in Hangzhou to trap Sasaengs known to frequently knock on Yibo's room in the middle of the night. On October 14, at 2:13 a.m., someone tried to open the actor's door again. This time, however, there were 3 plainclothes officers and a hidden camera behind the door. Within seconds, 2 young women were caught. They were carrying a cell phone, a mini recorder, and a fake access card. One of them was crying, begging not to report it. But the agency was losing patience. "You claim to be a fan, but you just scared someone who just wanted to sleep after a 16-hour workday," the staff member said in a trembling voice. The 2 perpetrators were handed over to the police, and an official case was filed. Since that night, Yibo has been able to sleep a little more peacefully, although his anxiety hasn't completely subsided. A person close to Wang Yibo said that the actor has become increasingly withdrawn. He rarely speaks. When he's not on set, he's mostly quiet and writing something on his phone, the source said. The writing reportedly contained Yibo's personal notes, expressing fear, disappointment, and anger that he couldn't express in public. Although known for his resilience, he was still a tired human being. One staff member recalled, "One night, Yibo said, 'I'm even afraid to sleep. I'm afraid someone will suddenly be at the door.'" That moment made the entire team realize that they were facing not only physical safety issues, but also mental trauma that could leave lasting scars. Several days after the hotel incident, Yuehua Entertainment issued an official statement. They emphasized that the agency had submitted all evidence to the authorities and would cooperate fully. "We will not tolerate any form of privacy violation," they wrote. Local police also confirmed that several individuals were under surveillance. However, the authorities faced a dilemma. Chinese laws regarding celebrity privacy are still murky, making it difficult to distinguish between overly enthusiastic fans and serious perpetrators of harassment. But this time, they were determined to provide a deterrent effect. Several Sasaeng actors were eventually given administrative sanctions, fines, and were banned from approaching artists for 2 years. In addition to field operations, the agency also developed a new digital security system. They partnered with a cybersecurity company to monitor the movement of suspicious accounts on social media. After the long storm that rocked Wang Yibo's world, a group emerged who stood not for fame, not for popularity, but to protect and love in the right way. They call themselves the True Light. This isn't your average fandom, nor a community preoccupied with comment wars on social media. The True Light is a movement of true fans that emerged after the Sasaeng incident rocked the entire Wang Yibo fandom. This movement began with a simple post on Weibo. "We can't control everyone. But we can start with ourselves, he said. Stop hurting the idols we love. In less than 24 hours, the post was shared more than 300,000 times. We have to show the true meaning of love. From there, the Respect Yibo movement was born. But now, every time I remember his tired expression, I feel guilty, said a fan named Lin Xia. Lin now actively creates digital illustrations of Yibo and donates the proceeds to a foundation for young artist mental health. A few weeks after the Respect Yibo movement went viral, Wang Yibo finally appeared at a public event for the first time. When asked about fans defending him, Yibo smiled faintly and said quietly, "I read it all. Thank you for caring." He finally knows that there are still many who truly love him, wrote one fan. After that, Yibo became active again on social media, this time with posts about motorcycle racing and art, two things he loves. Because ultimately, being a true fan isn't about possessing, but about respecting. Thank you for watching the 6th episode of the China Idol Spotlight series. In the next episode, we'll see how media outlets and agencies are starting to improve their security systems to protect artists. Click like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more inspiring stories. Because behind every spotlight, there's always a human story worth hearing. In the past year, more than 300 accounts have been reported for selling artists' personal data. Wang Yibo can now travel without unnecessary panic, although he remains under surveillance on every trip. Several other actors have even publicly thanked their security teams. The world behind the scenes is always more complicated than it seems. There, every step, every smile, and every movement of an artist is guarded by a vast, relentless system. They may live in the spotlight, but they are also protected by those who willingly remain in the shadows. And for artists like Wang Yibo, it's not just about security, but about rediscovering a sense of calm after years of pressure. You've just watched the 7th episode of the documentary series China Idol Spotlight. In the next episode, we'll take a deeper, emotional look at how Yibo's family, friends, and those closest to him supported him through these dark times. That smile always looks the same. Warm, serene, and makes anyone feel safe. But not many know that behind Wang Yibo's smile that captivates millions lies a long story of loneliness, struggle, and incredible resilience. That night, the lights in his hotel room in downtown Beijing were still on. Wang Yibo had just returned from a busy filming schedule, but instead of sleeping, he just sat quietly staring out the window. Down there, the city never sleeps, but his heart is so lonely. Sometimes I envy ordinary people, he said in an old interview. They can walk around without hats, without fear of being photographed secretly. For others, fame is a dream. But for Yibo, sometimes it feels like a glass-lined prison, beautiful to look at, but difficult to escape. Behind the smile he shows the camera, there's a heavy burden that few understand. Whenever Yibo feels tired, he has a strange habit: he writes letters to himself. Not long letters, but small notes that he always keeps in his personal notebook. Hey Yibo, don't give up. This world is harsh, but you are stronger than you think. Sometimes he reads the letters before performing on stage. He says it makes him feel more grilled in the spotlight, and from there, the smile is born not from necessity, but from the courage to remain gentle even when the world is harsh on him. Although he rarely talks about his family in public, they are the biggest reason Yibo has survived. His mother is known as a gentle but firm figure. When Yibo was little, she often accompanied him to dance practice until late at night. If you want to be the best, you have to be willing to get sick, his mother used to say. That simple sentence has deeply ingrained in Yibo's heart, and perhaps it is that sentence that has kept him strong to this day. Even though they rarely see each other now due to work schedules, Yibo always makes time to call after each performance. A silent but loving relationship. Like a hug that's always there without being asked. For some, the stage is a workplace, but for Wang Yibo it's an escape. Time passed, and like the sun rising after a storm, Wang Yibo shone again. To many, Yibo is an idol. He is a symbol of resilience, proof that even the brightest stars have almost gone out. I learned that it's okay to feel tired, he wrote on Weibo. The important thing is, don't stop believing that we can rise again. Wang Yibo's smile isn't just an expression in front of the camera. In the digital age, popularity is the new currency. The bigger your name, the more people want to take a piece of it, even by dirty means. And for a star as big as Wang Yibo, the threat comes not only from obsessive fans in the real world, but also from enemies hiding behind computer screens. This is a story of a silent war in cyberspace, a war that reveals how fragile the privacy behind fame can be. It all started with something small, a strange notification in the middle of the night. Wang Yibo's phone suddenly received hundreds of messages from unknown numbers. At first, he thought it was a technical glitch. But a few hours later, the news exploded on Weibo. The Wang Yibo's phone number was leaked and sold on a hacker forum. Within hours, the messages were nonstop. Some simply wanted to express their love. Some threatened him. Others just wanted to hear his voice through unknown calls. Imagine, you just got home from work, and your phone rings every second, said one staff member. It wasn't just a nuisance. It was a digital security terror. The agency immediately took action. They traced the data leak to a place called the dark web, an internet underworld invisible to regular search engines. There, celebrity identities are commodified. Not just phone numbers, but also home addresses, filming schedules, and even personal staff lists. Inside, there was data apparently taken from a leaked old third-party server. This data wasn't obtained from Yibo's phone directly, but from an app that had been connected to his social media accounts. One small mistake, one unsafe click, and all privacy could be lost. Even more frightening, some dark web users began selling Yibo's real-time location access, claiming they could know his location minute by minute. However, this wasn't a random incident. The security team discovered a pattern. Some of the accounts spreading Yibo's number were connected to an international bot network. This meant there was an automated system spreading the artist's personal data for financial gain. Some hackers are exploiting Yibo's fame to sell data on the black market. On the other hand, there are also obsessive fans who pay for exclusive access. For them, having an artist's personal number is like winning a trophy, said a digital behavior expert. But behind all that, there is a real threat. Digital attacks can damage reputations, disrupt work schedules, and even endanger the artist's safety. One of the hackers who was arrested admitted that he sold the data not just for the money, but out of curiosity that turned into obsession. I just wanted to know where he was, he said. I didn't realize it was so out of line. It didn't take long for the authorities to intervene. Thanks to cooperation between the police and the agency's cyber team, several perpetrators were tracked down through the IP addresses they used. According to official reports, 5 accounts were permanently closed and 2 were prosecuted. Meanwhile, hundreds of other fake data were removed from the internet. However, despite this victory, Yibo still felt deeply traumatized. He temporarily deactivated his account to recover. In his last post before his hiatus, he wrote briefly, "I just want to calm down a bit. Not everything you see is on screen is my whole life." Wang Yibo's case has sparked major changes. Major entertainment agencies are now implementing multi-layered digital security systems. They use a 2-step verification system for all artists and employ cyber bodyguards who are digital security experts who are tasked with protecting artist data 24/7. Furthermore, they are collaborating with the government to create new laws on the protection of celebrity personal data. Now, unauthorized distribution of artist data on the internet can result in a prison sentence of up to 3 years. After several months, Wang Yibo resurfaced. He appeared in an exclusive interview, not to promote new work, but to talk about privacy and the line between love and obsession. "I know you love me," he said softly. "But healthy love isn't about possessing. It's about respect. I want you to know that every artist is human. We can be afraid. We can be angry, and sometimes we just want to live a normal life without cameras behind us." Wang Yibo's story reminds us that popularity in the digital age isn't just about the number of followers, but about the courage to maintain humanity behind the scenes. And amidst all the hustle and bustle, that smile remained, not because everything was fine, but because he chose to stay strong. In a world so in love with light, we often forget that every light also has a shadow. Wang Yibo's story isn't just about an artist losing his privacy. A few months later, Wang Yibo made his public appearance again. He smiled this time, a more serene smile. There were no crowds of fans waiting at the hotel, no suspicious cars behind him. The audience applauded, not for his popularity, but for his courage. And in that moment everyone realized that true stars aren't just those who shine brightly, but also those who remain human despite being illuminated by the world. This story isn't just about Wang Yibo. Popularity is a double-edged sword. He can bring light, but he can also hurt. Wang Yibo not only fought Sasaeng fans, but also fought fear and loss of himself. Today, the world learned something from Wang Yibo, that loving an idol doesn't mean possessing. True love isn't about approaching without permission, but about respecting the distance that should be maintained. We at China Idol Spotlight remind you to support your idol in a healthy way. With prayers, with support, not with obsession. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so you don't miss other exclusive stories about the colorful and secretive world of Asian entertainment. See you in the next video. Keep loving your idol, but never lose your humanity.